Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Doctor. It's another overcast day out here in the Pacific Northwest, but thank the Lord it's not 85 degrees and we are enjoying kind of the cool weather. It is my day off. You're going to notice I'm a little bit messy. My hair hasn't been done. I'm still in my pajamas. We are kind of coming at this from a casual perspective. I am trying to really push this raid really hard, and this video is kind of going to be a real quick raid PSA for everyone out there that is running raid, and for everyone out there that is ruining my chains and is ruining, you know, steal time and is being greedy, and essentially it's for everyone who thinks they know what they're doing in raid, but they might not actually know what they're doing. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about first, let's just talk about Gafgarion, and let's talk about the tier list that I kind of gave out before in my previous video. For the most part, pretty accurate. You're seeing a lot of Veneras in the top tier gameplay right now, and you're seeing kind of a lot of like quote unquote Venera hatred, where people are like, your Venera is trash, which is kind of what I predicted would happen. And most of the time, I would say 90% of the groups that I've joined that are part of that, I have been joining under a pseudonym. Actually don't know how to use their Veneras themselves. They just want to pop Ziza's TMR and be DPS when they, you know, aren't humble enough to actually use steal time when it needs to be done. It's kind of been my experience in those Venera only elite rooms. So if you are one of those Veneras, make sure you actually know what you're doing before you start kicking people out of your room. Let's talk about chaining, because I think chaining has been the biggest problem for me as I've been pushing my way up. I am at level 118 right now, and I have done rooms up to level 143, and even in my level 143 rooms, I had Shadow Lynxes that were breaking the chain, and I was literally like, what are you doing? Like, so this is for the uninformed, and this is to teach you guys just a little bit about chaining and how it works. If you haven't done the tutorial, there is a tutorial mission for it, and I'm actually going to show you what tutorial mission that is. Let me see if I can access it. I'm pretty sure. There we go, Beginner's Hall. And if you go to, where's it at in here? Elemental Chains right here. So it's Beginner Quest 07. And if you want to know about Elemental Chains, you actually go into this Beginner Quest, and it teaches you everything you need to know about elemental chaining and physical chaining. Essentially what you need to know is that there is two different chains. There's physical chains and element chains. And when you are doing a dark and a slash chain, it's very important that your attacks are dark and slash. If you attack with just slash, it's going to break the dark side of that chain. So what I'm seeing happen a lot is we'll have a dark chain going, and we're building up the dark chain, and then someone like a Shadow Lynx or a Venera is out of AP, and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna hit it with my weapon. For the love of God, don't do that. That breaks the dark chain. We need to have the dark chain, because if you have the dark chain going, you can get Venera's LB to do significantly more damage. And if you have a Shadow Lynx in your group, your Shadow Lynx will do significantly more damage with her triple hit technique. If you break that dark chain, yes, if you're a Stern, you might be hitting, you know, the cap damage with your regular attack, and good for you on that, but you are like cucking your entire group. And I can't tell you how many times I have been running in this raid, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this, we can actually one-shot this at 110, we're doing good, and then out of nowhere, a Shadow Lynx or Venera just melees the enemy, and I'm like, fuck. Like, melees break chains, you guys. They break, yes, they maintain the slash chain, but they break the element chain, and you need to have both in order to maximize your damage potential. Let's talk about some other things that break the chain, because there are some people who might not realize, and those people are Stern users. So let's go to Stern, because I use Stern for a large portion of this, and let's talk about his abilities real quick. And we're gonna go ahead and go to his ability set menu and go to Soldier. So for Stern, I found the best sub job is Soldier, so that you have access to, or You have, well, I mean, you already have access to hazard form and stuff, but you have access to hard slash and paralyzing edge. The reason you want access to these is because hard slash, if you are opening up a chain, is a very good way to deal more maximum damage than paralyzing edge. So if you're on the lower end of a chain, which is what you should be as Stern, you want to use hard slash first, and then once the chain gets going, you want to use paralyzing edge. Both of these are slashing and dark. What you don't want to use is you don't want to use hazard break. The reason you don't want to use hazard break is because it costs so much AP that it is going to drain you. You can cast for the cost of hazard break. You can cast hard slash and paralyzing edge, which is going to be more total damage if you're chaining than if you just casted hazard break. Now, let's talk about Stern in terms of optimizing him. Now, when I was running with my Stern, I found the best way was to pop hazard form first, and you want to have enough innate AP on Stern so that he can use hazard slash, is it hazard slash? Holy shit, hard slash. So that he can use hard slash and paralyzing edge after he uses hazard form. If you do not have enough AP, your Stern is essentially gimping the party. You need to make sure your Stern has enough AP if you're in the upper levels of this raid to pop hazard form and use hard slash and then paralyzing edge. Not a huge ask. Even if you can't do that, you can probably get your Stern up to around level 100, 110, and it'll be fine. But if you really want to get into those higher level groups, that is the best way to do it. And I see a lot of Sterns not able to hit that AP cap, and then they just drain as a resource on your party. Another common mistake I'm seeing on Sterns is they are using Anton, and they are using Shuriken. Both of these do not chain slash and dark, guys. So remember when we talked earlier about breaking the chain? This will break the chain. Do not do that. That is not what we want to see. Let's go ahead and hop over and we'll talk about Shadow Links now. And we'll also talk about Venera. If you are running Shadow Links, what you do not want to do is you do not want to melee hit the enemy, and you want to use Dream Within a Dream. Dream Within a Dream is a 3-hit combo, which is going to deal good chain damage, and it's going to rack up that chain bonus. And then you want to use, and I might not have it unlocked here, you want to use Hien from Samurai Sub. So Hien is a low TP technique, which is going to be slashing and dark, or low AP technique, slashing and dark. And this is a good way to get your Shadow Links once you get the chain going, having her actually do significant amounts of damage. This is the best way to do it. So make sure you're doing that. And then I'm going to hop into a match right here, and we're going to talk just a little bit about positioning, because there's a lot of rumors, and maybe I shouldn't hop in a match because I'm going to get a little bit distracted. But there's a lot of rumors out there that your positioning matters and that it's a big deal depending on what position you go to. And in my experience, the position doesn't really matter that much, because unless you're in a coordinated group, essentially everybody's going to gank the boss anyway, because you kind of have two poisons, right? You have the boss can move and attack, or the enemies behind you will move and attack. So you kind of have to choose which one you want, and you don't want both. There are benefits to both, so let's talk about the benefits of positioning. So a lot of Veneras run straight up to the boss and camp right there. And there's a lot of techniques in this raid where it's, you know, you do a round of buffs, you let the boss AoE attack, and then you start your chain. And that's kind of the way that most groups start. Well, if you're wanting the most advantage, you actually want to park your units one square away from the Flan. So that would be the units that are on the northern side of the map, so that the Flan can move 2 spaces up. Why it's important that you do that is that when the Flan moves, what the Flan is going to do is the Flan is going to use more of its CT up because he's moving, right? If he just did his ability, he's not going to have, or he's going to have more CT because he didn't move. So if you're looking at doing some higher level strategies, you might want to position your character so that the Flan moves 1 space towards the north side to drain that CT more if you are trying to use abilities first and then have the Flan use an ability on your characters. What you would not want to do if you're doing that is have your Venera run straight up to it. Another thing I'm not seeing very often is I'm not seeing Veneras popping armor break, and I'm not seeing Veneras steal time or stealing time at inopportune times. Or if you have a Ziza TMR, I'm seeing a lot of Veneras prioritize their damage over supporting the party and being a little selfish. I think I don't mean to like shout out or shout down all the Veneras, but the idea of having multiple Veneras is that you're going to have multiple limit breaks. And if you're not supporting each other by having everyone generate AP and everyone steal time, you're not doing your role accurately. That might mean sometimes it's more beneficial for the party if instead of using an ability, you hit wait to put your Q ahead of another Ziza ahead of another Venera, so that they can limit break and you can limit break, and so you can have 2 limit breaks instead of a single Venera just spamming steal time the whole time, because not all Veneras have Ziza's TMR, like me. So there is that. Poison Sting is great for chaining from Venera as well. While we're talking about chaining, don't sleep on Ziza, everyone. Ziza with Sub Thief is actually 100% viable in terms of slash chaining, and I don't know if a lot of people realize that Ziza actually has Confused Dagger, which is a ranged slashing dark attack. So she is not only going to be able to steal time, she is going to be able to also use that ability to dark chain and deal damage. So please bring Ziza, please bring Gafgarions. They can be useful, maybe not in the top tier, but definitely in the lower tier. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that my like pseudo day off like brain wants to say about Raid, because it's been on my mind a lot and I know a lot of people have been talking about it. Let's see, there's a lot of people bitching about how it's like Dark Slash and Venera only. I mean, that's to be expected, right? It should make you feel better though that most of the people who are saying Dark Slash Venera only are still having to clear the raid twice. So that you should, you know, be happy with that they're not clearing in one shot anyway. I can tell you because I've been in many of those rooms. In terms of like how you would get your items and how many items you need, if you are trying to +5 a platinum robe, you are going to need 680 dark crysts, which is running the raid at lower tiers 680 times. Breaking it down, it's about 80 times, 90 times a day on the lower tiers. Or if you're running on the higher tier, it's about 30 times per day. So things to think about for that. If you're like, oh my gosh, all I have is Gafgarion, it's okay. Just join reinforcements, keep yourself below level 100, and do it as many times as you want. You might not get a +5 platinum robe, but you will be able to get many other things. Also, you can probably join higher level raids with your Gafgarion if you're just clearing. So like for me, I'm pretty casual about this. I'm not kicking people out of my group. I will the first time, but I never clear my raid on the first time. So the first time I go in, I will take, you know, Venera only comps or whatever it is, Shadow Links, whatever I think will work. And I'm not too selective. My goal is to weaken the boss, and then I'll just do the second raid after that. And then I'll let Gafgarions come in and Sterns come in. So if you are, you know, kind of taking a cleanup team, don't be too discriminatory against who you're bringing. Like, just recognize we all want those Dark Alchris too. Just because I got that level 89 Venera, don't kick me out. Just because I'm not under the Dr. Diggs name, you know. Don't murder me, please. All right, you guys. I think that's all I have for this video. Yeah, that's kind of been I feel like this is just a random, like, my day off, and I needed to talk about Raid, because I know there's a lot of people out there who wanted me to talk about it. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and not all of my videos are as unprofessional, messy hair, in my pajamas still like this one. But, you know, sometimes that's kind of fun. And let's see, what else? Go to dig.gs/coins if you're going to support me. It's one of the best ways to support me if you're buying Amazon coins. We do have a special offer right now because I am sponsored by Amazon. So you can also go to dig.gs/offer. Gets you 20% off certain bundles of coins. If you're like a dolphin or a quote unquote krill, like some people were saying in comments down below. In my last video, that dig.gs offer is going to be much better for you in terms of value. Other than that, drop a comment in the YouTube section. Come drop by the Discord, dig.gs/discord, and maybe I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow because it's my day off today. And Giant and I are going to have a wonderful date doing something with the dogs. Hopefully it's not doing white flan, but you never know because our morning date was spent watching Merlot. Last shout out, I have to shout out Weapon. None of y'all know who Weapon is. I know who Weapon is. Weapon is a man who eats ramen for his love of War of the Visions. And I have decided in his honor, I am going to do a special video featuring him coming up in the next couple weeks, which will be a featured ramen video. So if you guys have made it this far and are still listening to my ranting at this point, make sure you look forward to our featured ramen video in the near future. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great rest of your week.